The zip tie cut into Naomi's wrists as she regained consciousness. Her head throbbed, vision blurry, mouth dry with the metallic taste of whatever they'd used to drug her. She blinked hard, forcing her eyes to focus. Luxury penthouse. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking a city she couldn't quite place. Her chair sat in the center of an enormous living room, positioned like an exhibit. Two men watched her from the shadows. The first stepped into the light. Tall, lean, expensive tailored suit that probably cost more than her car. His face was angular, beautiful in a dangerous way, with dark eyes that assessed her like a chess piece. He moved with the precision of someone who'd never made an unnecessary gesture in his life. "You're awake," he said. Perfect English, barely a trace of an accent. "Good. We're on a schedule." The second man emerged, and Naomi's breath caught. Broader, younger, covered in tattoos that crawled up his neck and disappeared beneath his black t-shirt. Traditional Korean designs mixed with something darker, more personal. He had the look of someone who enjoyed his work a little too much. "She understood us," the tattooed one said in Korean, his eyes narrowing. "Earlier. When we were talking. I saw her face change." The suited man's lips quirked. "Did she now?" He switched to Korean, never breaking eye contact with Naomi. "Then she knows we're deciding whether to kill her quickly or slowly." Naomi kept her face blank. She'd minored in Korean at university, spent a semester in Seoul. They didn't need to know that. "Nothing." The tattooed one circled her chair. "Maybe she really doesn't understand. Or maybe she's smarter than you, Jae-Sung." The suited man leaned against a marble countertop, arms crossed. "Which wouldn't be difficult." Jae-Sung's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. "Interesting. Power dynamics." The younger one deferred to the older, despite his obvious desire to do otherwise. Naomi tested the zip tie. Tight, but not impossibly so. If she could find something sharp, if they got distracted. "Don't bother," the suited man said, switching back to English. "You're not leaving until we decide you can leave. I'm Min-Jun Choi. This is my brother, Jae-Sung. You already know who we are, of course. You've been tracking us for 3 months." Her stomach dropped. They knew. Of course they knew. "Here's what's going to happen," Min-Jun continued, pouring himself a drink from a crystal decanter. "You're going to tell us who you work for, what you've told them, and who else knows what you know. Then we'll decide what to do with you." "FBI," Jae-Sung said flatly. "She's FBI. We should." "She's not FBI." Min-Jun took a sip of whiskey. "FBI would have backup. Would have checked in. Would have been found by now. No, our Naomi here is something more interesting. Aren't you?" Naomi kept her mouth shut. "Give them nothing. Private investigator." Min-Jun mused. "No, too professional for that. Intelligence analyst. Getting warmer. You work for Blackstone Security Consulting. A firm that specializes in corporate espionage and money laundering investigations. Your boss, Marcus Chin, took a contract from someone who wants to know where the Choi family money flows. He knew everything." Naomi's mind raced. How long had they been watching her? Had they compromised Marcus? Was he dead? "The problem," Min-Jun continued, "is that you're very good at your job. You found accounts we didn't know anyone knew about. You traced shell companies that took us years to build. You even identified our Seattle operation before we were ready to move on it." He set down his glass. "Someone with your skills shouldn't be wasted on a corporate security firm." "Kill her," Jae-Sung said. "She's a liability. Everything is a liability to you." Min-Jun turned to his brother. "You've been in America 6 months and you've already created 3 different problems I've had to clean up. Maybe try thinking before reacting for once." Jae-Sung's hands clenched into fists. "I'm following father's orders." "You're the one who..." "Father's orders." Min-Jun laughed, cold and sharp. "Father sent you here to watch me. To make sure I'm still loyal. We both know that. The tension between them was thick enough to cut. Naomi filed that information away. Brothers, but not allies. That was useful. We're not killing her, Min-Jun said finally. Not yet. Because she's about to solve a problem for us. What problem? Naomi's voice came out hoarse. First words she'd spoken. Both brothers looked at her. She speaks, Jae-Sung said. Min-Jun smiled. The problem is this, you found us, which means others can find us. The FBI is already investigating the Seattle operation. A rival gang, the Yakuza offshoot we've been competing with, they think you're working for us. They want you dead. Your own firm probably thinks you're compromised. Everyone wants Naomi Williams dead or captured within the next 48 hours. So kill me and dump the body, Naomi said. Why waste time? Because I have a better idea. Min-Jun pulled a knife from his jacket. Jae-Sung tensed, hand moving to his waistband where Naomi glimpsed a gun. But Min-Jun just cut the zip tie on her wrists. Naomi rubbed the red marks on her skin, not understanding. We're going to play a game, Min-Jun said. The three of us. It's very simple. Each person completes 3 dares. After all the dares are finished, each person reveals one truth. The person whose truth makes them most vulnerable loses the game. What does the loser get? Naomi asked. If you lose, you work for us. You use your intelligence contacts, your skills, to feed us information. You become our asset. And if I win? If you win, we help you disappear. New identity, new life, enough money to start over anywhere in the world. We have the resources. You'd be untraceable. It was insane. But Naomi looked at her options, zip-tied corpse in a river, or a chance at survival. Not really a choice at all. What if I refuse to play? Jae-Sung pulled his gun, checked the magazine with practiced ease. Then we go back to my plan. Min-Jun ignored his brother, eyes locked on Naomi. You won't refuse. Because you're smart. And smart people know when they're beaten. But they also know when they're being given an opportunity. Why would you give me an opportunity? Because I'm curious, Min-Jun said. I want to know if you're as good as I think you are. And because if you win, it means you're too dangerous to keep alive, and we'll kill you anyway. If you lose, we get an incredible asset. Either way, we win. Naomi's mind worked through the angles. He was lying about something. Men like Min-Jun didn't play games unless the outcome benefited them regardless of who won. But what choice did she have? One rule, Min-Jun continued. Once you accept, you can't back out. Break a dare, refuse to tell your truth, try to escape, and the game ends. Violently. Jae-Sung holstered his gun, but kept his hand near it. She'll just run. She won't, Min-Jun said. Because she's already calculating her odds. And right now, this game is better odds than anything else available to her. Isn't that right, Naomi? Naomi stood slowly, testing her legs. The drug was wearing off, but she still felt unsteady. She looked at Min-Jun, then at Jae-Sung, then back at Min-Jun. What's the first dare? Min-Jun's smile widened. Smart girl. Jae-Sung, get the car ready. Naomi's first dare starts in 20 minutes. As Jae-Sung left the room, muttering in Korean about his brother's stupidity, Min-Jun poured a second glass of whiskey and handed it to Naomi. Drink. You'll need it. Naomi took the glass, hand steady despite everything. You said everyone wants me dead in 48 hours. That means you're on a clock too. What happens in 48 hours that you're not telling me? Min-Jun's smile faded slightly. For the first time, she saw something genuine in his expression. Worry. That's not your concern yet. Focus on surviving the next few hours. One dare at a time. He turned to look out the window at the city below. In the reflection, Naomi saw exhaustion in his face, the weight of something he was carrying. Whatever this game was really about, it wasn't just about her. Your first dare, Min-Jun said quietly, is to go to your apartment, which is currently under FBI surveillance, and retrieve the hard drive you've hidden behind the bathroom mirror. You have 2 hours. If you're caught, arrested, or killed, the game ends and Jae-Sung gets to dispose of your body however he sees fit. Naomi's blood ran cold. The hard drive contained everything. 3 months of investigation. Account numbers, names, transactions. It was her insurance policy. How did you know about that? We've been inside your apartment 4 times in the past week. We know about the hard drive. We know about the go bag in your closet. We know about the gun taped under your kitchen sink. Min-Jun finally looked at her. We know everything, Naomi. The question is, do you have the nerve to walk back into a surveillance trap and steal your own insurance policy? The elevator dinged. Jae-Sung's voice called out. Cars ready. Min-Jun gestured toward the elevator. After you. Naomi walked toward her first dare, the whiskey burning in her stomach, her mind already 3 steps ahead. She'd survived this long by being smarter than the people hunting her. 2 Korean Mafia brothers thought they had her trapped in their game. They had no idea she'd been playing her own game all along. The Mercedes SUV smelled like leather and gunpowder. Jae-Sung drove, silent and tense, while Min-Jun sat in the passenger seat scrolling through his phone. Naomi was in the back, watching the city pass by, calculating. Her apartment was in Capitol Hill, a modest 1-bedroom she'd chosen specifically because it had 3 exits and good sightlines. The FBI had been watching it for the past week. She'd noticed the surveillance van 2 blocks down, had spotted the agent posing as a jogger who did the same loop every morning at 6. If she went back now, they'd know within seconds. You're thinking too hard, Min-Jun said without looking up from his phone. FBI protocol is to observe and record. They won't move on you unless you give them a reason. You go in, get the drive, come out. 10 minutes, maximum. And if they decide tonight's the night to raid my apartment? Then you'll need to be very convincing about why you're there. Min-Jun finally looked back at her. That's part of the dare, Naomi. Problem solving under pressure. Show us you're worth keeping alive. Jae-Sung took a corner too fast, and Naomi gripped the door handle. Does he always drive like he's trying to kill someone? Only when he's annoyed, Min-Jun said. And you annoy him. You annoy him because you're not afraid enough, and fear is the only language he really speaks. I speak other languages, Jae-Sung snapped in Korean. Name one, Min-Jun replied in the same language. Jae-Sung's knuckles went white on the steering wheel, but he said nothing. They parked 3 blocks from her building. Standard precaution. Naomi got out, and Min-Jun handed her a small earpiece. So we can listen. Don't take it out. Don't try anything clever. Jae-Sung will be in your apartment before you get there. He goes in through the fire escape. You come in through the front like a normal resident. He's your backup if things go wrong. My backup. Naomi looked at Jae-Sung, who was checking his gun with the casual ease of someone who'd done it 10,000 times. He looks like he'd shoot me first and ask questions never. He might, Min-Jun admitted. But probably not during the dare. That would be against the rules, and despite everything, Jae-Sung believes in rules. Don't you, little brother? Jae-Sung holstered his gun and walked away without answering, disappearing into the shadows between buildings. He really hates you, Naomi observed. He hates that I left Korea. That I built something father couldn't control. That I'm not the obedient son. Min-Jun's voice was matter-of-fact, like he was discussing the weather. But mostly he hates that he was sent here to watch me, and he knows I'm only pretending not to notice. Why are you telling me this? Because knowledge is currency, and right now you need to understand who you're playing against. Min-Jun checked his watch. You have 97 minutes. Go. Naomi walked toward her building, forcing herself to breathe normally. The surveillance van was still there, windows dark. The jogger was gone, shift probably ended. She used her key at the main entrance, nodded at Mr. Kim, the elderly man who lived on the first floor and always sat in the lobby watching Korean dramas on his tablet. Naomi, he said, surprised. Working late tonight. Forgot something important, she said with a smile she didn't feel. You know how it is. He nodded and went back to his show. The elevator was broken again, so she took the stairs to the 4th floor. Her apartment door was exactly as she'd left it, but she knew Jae-Sung was already inside. She could feel it. The air pressure was different, the silence too complete. She unlocked the door and stepped inside. Jae-Sung sat on her couch, gun resting on his thigh, looking at the photos on her wall. Pictures of her sister's graduation, her mother before the cancer, Naomi herself at her university commencement. A whole life reduced to frames on a wall. You were pretty, he said in English, accent thicker than his brother's. Before you became this. Before I became what? Whatever you are now. He gestured at the apartment. This isn't a home. This is a hiding place. No personality. Nothing real. You're already a ghost. Naomi walked past him to the bathroom. Philosophical insights from a killer. How refreshing. I didn't say I was any different. She froze at the bathroom door, turned back to look at him. For the first time, she really saw him. Not the tattoos or the gun or the violence he wore like a second skin, but the exhaustion underneath. The same exhaustion she'd seen in Min-Jun's reflection. What happened to you? She asked. Jae-Sung's jaw tightened. Get your drive. Clock is running. Naomi went into the bathroom and closed the door. The mirror was a cheap medicine cabinet from IKEA. She opened it, removed the contents, and found the small panel on the back that popped loose with the right pressure. The hard drive was there, exactly where she'd left it. She was about to close the panel when she heard it, voices in the hallway. Multiple voices. Heavy footsteps. FBI. Open up. Naomi's heart stopped. Through the bathroom door, she heard Jae-Sung move with frightening speed. No time to think. She shoved the hard drive in her pocket, opened the bathroom door, and found Jae-Sung standing at the front door, gun ready. Window, he hissed. Fire escape. Now. They'll have it covered. Then we fight our way out. That's your solution to everything, isn't it? Naomi grabbed his arm. Wait. She pulled him into her bedroom closet just as the front door crashed open. They pressed together in the darkness, his body tense, the gun between them. Naomi could hear him breathing, controlled and slow despite the situation. FBI. Clear the main room. Bedroom, check. Footsteps. Multiple agents. They were thorough, professional. Naomi heard them going through her things, opening drawers, checking under the bed. Then the closet door opened. A flashlight beam swept across the clothes, and Naomi held her breath, pressed against Jae-Sung in the narrow space behind her winter coats. The agent was thorough, pushing clothes aside, checking the back wall. The beam stopped inches from Jae-Sung's face. Naomi felt him tense, knew he was about to do something violent and stupid. She did the only thing she could think of, she kissed him. Not a gentle kiss. A desperate, convincing kiss that made them look like exactly what they needed to look like, two people who'd been hiding in a closet for very different reasons. The agent's flashlight paused, and Naomi heard the surprise in his voice. Clear. Just some civilians. The flashlight retreated. The closet door closed. Jae-Sung's gun was still pressed between them, his body rigid with tension, but he didn't pull away from the kiss. Not immediately. When he finally did, his eyes were dark and confused. What? Shut up, Naomi whispered. They're still here. They stayed frozen in the closet for another 10 minutes, listening to the FBI tear apart her apartment. Finally, voices, nothing here. Must have been a false alarm. Neighbor probably saw someone at the fire escape, got spooked. Let's clear out. We'll resume surveillance from the van. Footsteps receding. The front door closing. Silence. Jae-Sung moved first, pushing out of the closet, running a hand through his hair. He wouldn't look at her. That was necessary, Naomi finished. It worked, didn't it? Don't ever do that again. Do what? Save your life. Because you were about to shoot a federal agent and start a war you couldn't win. I've won plenty of wars. Not in a fourth-floor apartment in Seattle. Naomi pulled out the hard drive, showed it to him. Dare completed. Let's go before they realize their mistake and come back. Jae-Sung finally looked at her, and something had shifted in his expression. Not softness, exactly, but recognition. Like he'd seen something he hadn't expected to see. You're not afraid, he said. I'm terrified, Naomi corrected. But fear doesn't help right now. Moving does. They left through the fire escape, moving silently through the shadows. The surveillance van was still there, but its attention was on the front entrance. They made it to the Mercedes without incident. Min-Jun was waiting, leaning against the driver's side door, smoking a cigarette. He took one look at them and smiled. Eventful. FBI raid, Jae-Sung said curtly, getting into the driver's seat. And yet you're both alive and have the drive. Impressive. Min-Jun crushed the cigarette under his shoe and turned to Naomi. Welcome to Dare 2. Naomi's legs felt shaky, adrenaline starting to fade. Already. No rest in this game. Min-Jun took the hard drive from her, examined it. Jae-Sung, this one's for you. And Naomi gets to choose what you do. Jae-Sung's eyes narrowed. That wasn't part of the rules. New rule, Min-Jun said. Makes it more interesting. Naomi, you've survived your dare. Now make my brother suffer through his. What do you want him to do? Naomi thought about it. About the way Jae-Sung had called his brother's name in the penthouse, the deference mixed with resentment. About the way he'd tensed when Min-Jun mentioned their father. About the gun he carried like a security blanket. Call your father, she said. Tell him you're thinking of leaving the family business. The color drained from Jae-Sung's face. No. It's her dare for you, Min-Jun said, and now his smile was dangerous. Rules are rules, little brother. You said each person does 3 dares. That means you choose yours, I choose mine. I'm adjusting the rules, Min-Jun interrupted. It's my game. Don't like it? Leave. But if you leave, you fail the dare. And if you fail the dare, you break the rules. And if you break the rules. He let the implication hang. Jae-Sung looked at Naomi with something close to hatred. You don't know what you're asking. Then enlighten me, Naomi said. Or make the call. Your choice. They drove to a different location, a warehouse in the industrial district that Min-Jun apparently used for storage. Inside, it was surprisingly comfortable, a small office space with furniture that didn't match, a kitchenette, and a bathroom. Safe house, Naomi realized. Probably one of several. Jae-Sung paced like a caged animal, phone in his hand, staring at it like it might bite him. It's just a phone call, Min-Jun said, settling into a chair. You've killed people. This should be easy. Killing is easy, Jae-Sung snapped. This is. You know what this is. I do. That's why it's a good dare. Min-Jun looked at Naomi. Context, our father, Choi Dae-young, is not a forgiving man. Loyalty is everything to him. Family is everything. Leaving the family business isn't just quitting a job. It's betrayal of the highest order. What happens to people who betray him? Naomi asked. Nothing good, Jae-Sung said quietly. Nothing quick. The weight of the dare settled over the room. Naomi realized she'd weaponized something deeper than she'd intended. This wasn't just embarrassment or discomfort. This was existential. You can still back out, she said. Jae-Sung's eyes snapped to hers, furious. I don't back out. Then make the call, Min-Jun said. It's 3 in the afternoon in Seoul. He'll be in his office. Jae-Sung's hand tightened on the phone. Then, with the air of a man walking to his execution, he dialed. The phone rang once. Twice. Then a voice, sharp and commanding even through the speaker, Jae-Sung. Report. Abeog, Jae-Sung said, and his whole posture changed. Shoulders back, head bowed slightly even though his father couldn't see him. Respect drilled so deep it was instinct. I'm calling because I need to discuss something. I'm listening. Naomi watched Jae-Sung's face, saw the war happening behind his eyes. Min-Jun watched too, expression unreadable. I've been thinking, Jae-Sung continued in Korean, voice steady but strained, about my future. About whether this life is what I want. Silence on the other end. Long, terrible silence. Explain, his father said finally. Min-Jun built something here. Something different from what we have in Seoul. It's made me question whether I need to follow the same path you did. Whether I could build something of my own. Away from the family business. More silence. Then, you're saying you want to leave. I'm saying I'm thinking about it. Who put this idea in your head? His father's voice dropped to something dangerous. Was it your brother? Has Min-Jun been filling your head with his poison? No, Abeog. This is my thought. My question. Then I'll give you an answer. The voice on the phone was cold now, absolute. You are Choi Jae-Sung. You are my son. You are my blood. There is no life for you outside this family. There is no future where you are not part of what I built. Do you understand? Jae-Sung's jaw clenched. I understand. No, I don't think you do. Let me be clear, if you leave, you are not my son. You are nothing. You are dead to me and to every person in this organization. And if you think you can simply walk away, think again. No one leaves the Choi family. No one. Abeog. We're done with this conversation. Whatever doubt is in your head, kill it. Bury it. Or I will bury you. Do you understand me? Jae-Sung's hand was shaking now, barely perceptible, but Naomi saw it. Yes, Abeog. Put your brother on the phone. Jae-Sung handed the phone to Min-Jun, who took it with a resigned expression. Father. What is happening there? Why is Jae-Sung talking nonsense about leaving? He's young. He's confused. I'll handle it. You'll handle it. The contempt in their father's voice was palpable. You've been handling things for 10 years, Min-Jun. All you've done is create problems. I sent Jae-Sung there to watch you, and now you're corrupting him too. I haven't corrupted anyone. Bring him back to Seoul. Next week. I'll remind him where his loyalty belongs. He's useful here, Min-Jun said carefully. The Seattle operation needs. I don't care what Seattle needs. I care about family. Bring him home or I'll send people to bring both of you home. And you won't like the methods they use. The line went dead. Min-Jun set the phone down, rubbed his temples. Well. That went about as expected. Jae-Sung stood frozen, face pale, breathing too fast. Naomi recognized the signs of a panic attack starting. She'd had enough of them herself. Breathe, she said quietly. Slow. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Don't, Jae-Sung said, voice rough. Don't pretend to care. I'm not pretending. I know what it's like to have someone hold your entire life hostage. Naomi moved closer, carefully, like approaching a wounded animal. My brother died because he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Your father's operation in Seoul, 3 years ago. Gang war spillover. He was just walking home from work. Jae-Sung looked at her, really looked at her, for the first time. That's why you were investigating us. That's why I'll never stop investigating you. Naomi's voice hardened. But right now, in this moment, I know what it feels like to be trapped by something bigger than yourself. And I'm sorry I made you do that. Don't apologize, Min-Jun said. That's the point of the game. To expose the vulnerabilities. To see what we're all really made of. He stood, stretched. Jae-Sung completed his dare. Now it's my turn. And I think Jae-Sung should choose what I do. Fair is fair. Jae-Sung's eyes were still glazed with the aftershocks of the phone call, but he focused on his brother. And slowly, something cold and calculating crossed his face. Take us to where you buried your first victim, he said. Min-Jun's mask cracked. Just for a second, but Naomi saw it, fear. Real, genuine fear. That's not. You said I could choose. I choose that. Show us where the bodies are buried, big brother. Literally. Min-Jun and Jae-Sung stared at each other, years of unspoken tension crackling between them. Finally, Min-Jun nodded. Get in the car. It's an hour's drive. They drove in silence, leaving the city behind, heading into the dense forests of Washington state. The trees grew thicker, the road narrower, until they were on what was barely a logging trail. Min-Jun drove this time, hands steady on the wheel, but Naomi could see the tension in his shoulders. I was 22, he said suddenly. Fresh off the plane from Seoul. Father had sent me to establish the American operation. Said it was my chance to prove myself. To show I was worthy of the Choi name. Nobody responded, but he continued anyway. There was a rival family. Yakuza affiliated. They didn't like that we were moving into their territory. They sent someone to negotiate. A kid, really. 19 years old. His father was someone important, so they thought sending him would be a gesture of respect. A peace offering. The car stopped in a clearing, surrounded by towering evergreens. Min-Jun got out, and they followed. He walked 20 paces into the forest, stopped at a spot that looked identical to every other spot. His name was Kenji Yamamoto. He was studying business at UW. Had a girlfriend. Wanted to take over his father's restaurant, not his father's gang. We talked for 3 hours. I liked him. He was smart, funny. He didn't want this life any more than I did. Min-Jun crouched down, touched the earth. Then my second in command, a man father had sent with me, he pulled a gun. Said we couldn't trust the Yakuza, that this was a test of my loyalty. He gave me a choice, kill Kenji, or he'd report to father that I was too weak to lead the American operation. Naomi felt sick. She could see where this was going. I killed him, Min-Jun said flatly. One shot. He didn't suffer. Then I helped bury him here, in the middle of nowhere, where no one would ever find him. And that night, I killed my second in command too. Made it look like a Yakuza hit. Because I realized something. He stood, turned to face them. I realized I was already damned. There was no going back. No redemption. So if I was going to be a monster, I was going to be a monster on my own terms. Not father's terms. Mine. Jae-Sung stared at his brother like he'd never seen him before. You never told anyone this. Who would I tell? Father would have seen it as weakness. You were too young, too devoted to the cause. I've been carrying this alone for 10 years. Min-Jun's laugh was bitter. And now you both know. Congratulations. You know my deepest secret. The thing that made me into this. The forest was silent around them, oppressive in its indifference. Naomi thought about all the bodies buried in places like this, all the secrets that would never come to light. How many Kenjis were scattered across the world, killed for being in the wrong place with the wrong last name. My brother's name was Marcus, Naomi said suddenly. Marcus Williams. He was 24 when he died in Seoul. He'd just gotten a job teaching English, was so excited about it. Called me every day to tell me about his students, about the city, about how he'd finally found something he loved. Both brothers looked at her. He was walking home from a noribang. Wrong street, wrong time. Got caught in the crossfire when 2 gangs had a dispute outside. Your father's gang and another family. 3 shots. He bled out before the ambulance arrived. Naomi's voice was steady, but tears burned in her eyes. So when I tracked your money, when I dug into your operations, I wasn't thinking about justice or law. I was thinking about my brother. About how many other Marcus Williamses are out there because men like your father play their games. I'm sorry, Min-Jun said, and he sounded like he meant it. Sorry doesn't bring him back. Naomi wiped her eyes angrily. But maybe destroying your family's empire will prevent the next one. That's what I tell myself to sleep at night. Jae-Sung was quiet for a long moment. Then, I was in Seoul when that happened. 3 years ago, right? Spring. Naomi nodded. I remember that incident. Father was furious. Not because people died, but because it drew police attention. Made things difficult for a few months. Jae-Sung's voice was hollow. We never even knew their names. The casualties. They were just collateral damage. We're all collateral damage, Min-Jun said. Kenji, Marcus, us. We're all just pieces in games we didn't choose to play. Then why keep playing? Naomi asked. Because the alternative is worse. Min-Jun started walking back to the car. Come on. We've completed 3 dares. Time for the 4th. And Naomi, this one's going to test exactly how far you're willing to go to survive. If you made it this far, you just witnessed a story of revenge, redemption, and the complicated nature of freedom. Drop a like if this story kept you hooked, subscribe for more intense psychological thrillers, and comment below, Team Min-Jun, Team Jae-Sung, or Team Naomi. Who played the game best? Let's discuss in the comments. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the best way to win is to change the game entirely.